I was thinking about the movie Fried Green Tomatoes, where Evelyn Crouch actually is going through a parking lot for hours and said she'd been there all day. Finally, a parking spot opens up and she's able to wait, and then suddenly a car steals her spot. She thinks to herself, and suddenly an alter ego comes apart, and she yells to Wanda. And as we all know, parking can be an issue for all of us, but lack of accessibility is a particular problem for wheelchair users. In fact, please look to the person on your right. Now look to the person on your left. That very person has probably stolen a parking spot in their lifetime or had one taken from them. Better yet, if you're honest, we all have had some kind of parking foul. And have you ever thought of what these infringements do? The misuse parking violation may have impacted the driver more than you thought, especially a wheelchair user. There are two types of wheelchair accessibility. Handicap parking. There's a disabled parking for those who don't need aids, such as a wheelchair and scooters. The van parking is for the wheelchair and vans and scooters to be able to access their car in and out of this space safely. They need 8 foot out of the right side of the van to be able to get out. My beautiful daughter and I have been unable to park 9 out of 10 times when we're out in the community. That's including here at FRCC. We have found problems every time we come for school. Even though people have a disabled placard, doesn't mean that the van parking can work for them. As I said, the wheelchair users need those spots. And the lack of this misunderstanding about the differences between different accessibility parking can cause isolation and segregation. Most people don't understand what the striped lines mean. My friend Candace Richardson sent me pictures of an experience she had at Walmart, where the shopping carts and other such items are in the access aisle as well. So these striped lines are supposed to indicate the access for the wheelchair users. These misconceptions are evident through these pictures. She also had an experience like FRCC, where this person's parking actually took up 3 spots. And at King Soopers, the person parked over the no parking sign. So even if people don't understand it, there's got to be a reason for it. So these reasons that they misuse these vans are usually a lack of awareness and education regarding these different types of disability parking and the purpose of those striped lines. For instance, particularly about these misconceptions is crucial for this wheelchair to access things, for critical medicine, going to medical appointments, going to church, friend's house, and even going home. A campaign to bring awareness and understanding in the basics of handicap parking is warranted. One such effort in society is bringing awareness and education through DMV criteria and through schools. Second, the misuse is also due to not having enough wheelchair spaces. The ADA law requires that there be 1 van handicap parking space per 1,000 or more, and there's 6 total disability parking. So 1 out of 1,000. That's not many choices for that wheelchair user. The third reason is lack of empathy and understanding about the challenges that wheelchair users have. It does matter. They can't get in, they can't go home. I remember a time where my daughter and I were actually stranded at a store in a not safe place because when we pulled in and deployed her ramp somebody rushed around into the access aisle and ran over the ramp, immobilizing our vehicle. Undoubtedly, the disability community has attested to these frustrations regarding the isolation and the lack of wheelchair parking. According to Braun Ability Survey, 89% of wheelchair users don't even try or aren't comfortable to go out into the community. 2/3 of them just feel like there's no hope in going. And they feel excluded from these events and places that they want to go in everyday life. So this highlights the issues and different types of parking that it needs. 74% of people were asked what they would do if somebody parked too close. And they said they would just crawl in a window or going on the other side. With a wheelchair user such as my daughter, this is impossible. She cannot lift herself up and get in the van, and of course not lasso her wheelchair and pull up a 450-pound chair through a window. If she could, what would she do? She couldn't drive home anyway. So as a community, we need to bring awareness and change to those who have made a difference in the past. This is a common occurrence. Most people don't realize, but by having stuff or just parking a little over that spot does not give them reason to get in their house. So Judith Herman's TED Talk, she talks about in 1972, President Nixon vetoed the Rehabilitation Act. So they protested and he signed it. And then when they thought the House wasn't going to sign the ADA, disabled individuals got together and they actually crawled up the steps of the Capitol to show the point of that the need was great. With this, President H.W. Bush signed the ADA law on July 26, 1990. One of the most famous statements he made in a speech was, "Let the shameful walls of exclusion finally come tumbling down." We need to keep inspiring this in society. I believe bringing awareness regarding the lack of handicap parking for wheelchair users causing isolation, segregation, and denial of their fundamental civil rights can happen with further knowledge and understanding. Things like porta potties are put in handicap parking. When it snows, the snow always is put in the wheelchair parking spaces. Motorcycles park there, people park over the lines, or people misuse or don't understand the difference between the two parking with disabled parking and wheelchair van accessible parking. We don't want this to happen. All of us in this room, people listening to this speech, now and in the future, we should be inspired to figure out solutions for wheelchair users. Of course, we don't want them to become an alter ego and yell to Wanda. They don't want to ferociously retaliate or worse, become isolated even more than they already are. Let us be the ones to write a new story. Here are 3 simple things we can do that I will leave with you today. First, we can download the app Parking Mobility. In this app, when you see a violation, you simply take a picture and it can get posted. The second thing is you can have little sticky notes that I have some over there. You can order more through their website or by calling, and you just simply take the sticky note and place it on their window explaining the difference of not parking there when they're not disabled or when they're not needing the wheelchair van accessibility. The third thing we can do is to do our best to make sure we never steal a parking spot, especially those for wheelchair users. They need that ramp deployment. Together, we can discard the old beliefs and attitudes that limit those with disabilities. Remember, we can do more together than alone. Our voices do matter. I believe, although parking may be an issue for everyone, the lack of accessibility is a particular problem for wheelchair users. Woo!